The question says, what is 145.3 minus 17.9? So we write it this way. We have 145.3. We will be subtracting 17.9. We will go after the decimal point. We have got one decimal point here. Okay, so that is there, 145.3, and then we have another one here. Let's change the color. We have one there, so that means the one has got to go directly under this one here. So let's do that. So we have a point there. So we have the 9 goes there, the 7 comes here, and then the 1 comes here. Now we can subtract. Okay. Now we want to take 9 out of 3. 9 is too big. Okay. 3 is too small, and there is no way we can take this bigger number, which is 9, out of 3. Therefore, we need to go to the next number, which in this case is 5. Borrow 1 from 5. If you borrow 1 from 5, you're going to be left with what? With 4. Okay. Let's drop this off. And the 1 we borrow come here to make this 13. Okay, now the number is bigger now, 13. And if we take 9 out of 13, we will have what? We have 4 left. So we have a 4 there. So let's proceed. Now we got 4. Now we got 1, 4, 4. Okay, good. Now 144. We need to take 7 out of 4. And this 4 here, it's too small, so we need to borrow 1 from the 4 in front of it. If we borrow 1 from the 4 in front of it, we're going to be left with what? We will be left with 3 there. So borrow 1 from here, we're going to be left with 3. So let's rub this off. So we have 3 left there. And the 1 we borrow comes here to make this a 14. 14, we're going to take 7 out of the 14. 7 plus 7 is 14. So if we take 7 out of the 14, we will be left with what? With 7. We must not forget there's a decimal point. Yeah. Decimal point comes directly down here. So we take 7, this 7 out of 14 on top there, we're left with what? 7. Okay, now we have 3 here. 3 is left here. Got 3 left here. If we take 1 out of 3, we're going to have 2 left. So we have 2 left here. So let's clean this up. Okay, now we're left with 1. The 1 here, 1 minus nothing is nothing here, so we're left with what? We're left with 1. So let's tidy up. Good. So our answer here is 127.4. Beautiful. What is 60 minus 24.7? Now here we've got two numbers. First one is this, and the second one is 24.7. We realize that here and here there's a difference. This one here has got a decimal point, and this one doesn't have one, so this is 24.7. While this one is, let's turn it this way, is 60. It doesn't have a decimal point, but this one has one. So after the decimal point here, after the decimal point, we have got only one number, but in this case we don't have any at all, so we're going to create one. Now this is a whole number, and after a whole number there's always a decimal point, but it's not written in this case because it's not needed. So we have a decimal point here. Let's just use a red pen and create a decimal point. Yes. Okay, so we've got a 60, and we don't have anything after it. There is nothing here. Good. Now this is the same thing as 60 and a 0. And this, we can also write it as this 0.00. And then we can change it to it's still the same thing. Make it 3 zeros, we can make it 4 zeros and 5 zeros, and the 0 keeps going and 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 going, and it goes on to infinity. So in this case, we only need one number after the decimal point. The decimal point is here. We only need one number after the decimal point. Therefore, This is not needed. This is not needed. This is not needed. This is what we want. Here, there's no decimal points here, so we'll prefer the second one here. So let's drop this off. Okay, this will be the best one. So let's just leave the 4 on the top there, just for reference purposes. Now let's also rub this off. Let's finish this work. Now let's solve some questions. Now write the 61st, 60.0, and here in this case we have the decimal point first. Now we can now put a 7 there, and then we have a 24. We can see that now it's going to work. It's, if we don't put it this way, that means we're going to have what, 60, and then we're going to put our 24. We put our 24 here, 0.7, and then we wonder, how do we solve this? All we just need to know is, after a whole number, if the whole number doesn't have a decimal point, you can just put it there. It has it, but it's just invincible. But now, because we need to just make it visible, and then add a 0 in front of it, and now we can see that it now looks like this. So that's what we have. Yeah. So we can just rub this off and now solve this question. Now we have this, and we're subtracting. Now 0. We want to take 7 out of 0. That's not possible. 0 is too small. We need to make it bigger. And we come to the next number, and this is also 0. That means we have to come to the 1 before it. So we have to go to 6 and get a 1 from 6. Okay, let's get a 1 from 6. If we get a 1 from 6, we're going to be left with 5. If we bring the 1 here, this becomes a 10. But this is where we're going. We need to make this one bigger. So therefore, we have to take a 1 from the 10 and take it to the 0 on the right. Okay, so we take 1 from the 10. We're left with 9, and bring the 1 here, making this 10. 10, we're going to take 7 out of 10. We will be left with what? We'll be left with 3. Okay, 3. Beautiful. We have a decimal point here, we have a decimal point there, so we're going to have 1 here. Now we have here, we have 9. 9. 9, we'll take 4 out of 9. If we take 4 out of 9, we'll be left with what? We'll be left with 5. So we're going to have 5 there. And here we've got 5 left there, because when we started with a 0, we needed to make it big enough so that we can take 7 out of it, and we've done that. And to do that, we had to come to the 6, or 1 from 6. So therefore, we have got 5 left. Okay, so 5 left. Now 5, we take 2 out of 5. We're left with what? With 3. So our answer here is 35.3. Beautiful. We've got 121.4. We'll be taking 92.65 out of it. So let's go. We have 121.4. We'll be taking 92.65. We've got a decimal point there. So let's start with that. We have 1 here, and then we create another one there. So decimal point goes there, and then we've got 2 here, and we've got 9 there, and we've got 6 here, and then we've got 5 there. We could see that there's an empty space here on top of the 5. So therefore, we can just fill it up. Remember, after a number, after the decimal point, we've got a number, we can add 0, because we're going to add lots of zeros as much as we like, but we don't need them. So therefore, we don't bother about this zeros. We only need this first one here. Okay, let's put back our highlighter. We only need this because, why do we need a 0 there? Because there's a 5 here, and we need to take this 5 out of something. Therefore, we add a 0 there so that we can subtract as we should. Okay, we have a subtraction sign, and then let's subtract. Now, we want to take 5 out of this number here, and this is 0, so therefore we need to make it bigger. We borrow 1 from here, we are left with 3, and the one we borrow comes here to make it 10. So take 5 out of 10. Now it's big enough. It's a big number now, 10. Take 5 out of 10, we are left with 5. Excellent. Now we have 3 here. We want to take 6 out of 3. 3 is too small. We have to come here to borrow 1. We are left with 0. The 1 comes here to make it 13. and we'll take 6 out of 13. 6 out of 12 is 6. So 6 out of 13 will be what? Will be 7. Okay, 7 done. We have decimal point here, we have there, and therefore we need another one here. Okay, we now add a decimal point. Sorted. Now we have 0. To take 2 out of the 0, and that's not possible. We need to make the 0 bigger, so we have to come to this 2 here, borrow 1 from this 2. We take 1 out of the 2, we're left with 1. Bring the 1 to the other side here to make it bigger. 10. Take 2 out of 10, we have 8. Now we need to take 9 out of a 1, and the 1 is too small, so we need to borrow 1 from here. We're left with nothing. When the 1 comes here, making it 11. So we take 9 out of 11, we're left with what? We're left with 2. 2 and 0, and then nothing. We've got nothing here. We got nothing here, and then 0. Because we took 1 from here to make it 11. So 0, we take nothing out of 0, so the same thing. So we don't bother putting anything here. We don't put it here. So we will say that we're sorted. So our answer is 28.75. Let's drop this off. We don't need this really. Okay. So our answer here is 28.75. Excellent. What is 300 minus 6.99? So here we could see 300, no decimal point, 2. Here we've got 6.99, there's a decimal point. So therefore we can adjust this 300 to also have its own decimal point. We know the decimal point is invincible, so we just make it visible. So we have here, and we make it visible there. And then this has got 2 numbers behind its decimal point, so therefore for the 300 we can just create 2 zeros, also 2 zeros, and now they now look alike. Now we can now do subtraction. So we have 300.00. Our decimal point is there, and then we can have here, we have a point, we have a 9 and a 9, and then a 6. Now we can subtract. Okay, now we want to take 9 out of a 0. It doesn't work that way. So we need to come here to borrow 1, but there's nothing here to borrow. So because 0, 2, we have to come here, and there's nothing there. We have to come here, there's nothing, then we have to come to 3 to borrow. If we borrow 1 from the 3, what will that give us? Let's rub this off. We're done with this. Okay, so if we borrow 1 from the 3, we are left with 2. We bring the 1 here to make this 10, and this is where we're going, so therefore we will keep on moving until we get there. So therefore if we borrow 1 from the 10, and we're going to be left with 9. We bring the 1 here, we still have a long way to go. This is where we're going, so we borrow 1 from here, we're left with a 9. Bring the 1 here, and then we borrow 1 from here also. We have a 9 left, and bring the 1 here. This is our destination. So we have 10. 10 minus 9, we have a 1. Now we have that one sorted. Now we've got this to go. This one here, and this. Okay, so 9 minus 9 will give us a 0. We got decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. So we have 9 here, and then we take 6 out of it. We're left with 3. Got 3 there, and here we've got 9, and we've got nothing here. So that will be 9 minus 0. We have a 9, and then we've got what? We've got 2 here, and we've got nothing here. So 2 minus nothing, that's 2 minus 0. We have 2 left. So our answer is 293.01. So our answer is 293.01. Excellent. We got a question which says, what is 8697? That's 8,697. We're taking 7.861 from it. So we have this here and this one there. Here we got 7.861. We've got a decimal point. We have 8, 6, 1. We've got 3 numbers after the decimal point. And in here, we don't have any decimal point at all. 8, 6, 9, 7. There is no decimal point. But the truth is, the decimal point is invincible. It's there. So we can make it visible. So we have a decimal point. Decimal point, that's cool. And then here, we've got a number here, 8. We've got 6. We've got 1. There's no provision for that in this question here. So we need to make a provision for it. So that means we must have 3. 1, 2, and 3. And because we have 3 here too. 1, 2, and 3. That means all we need to do is add a 0, 0, and a 0. So now that's solved. So we have 8, 6, 9, 7, 0, 0, 0. Now let's rub this off. This is sorted. Okay, and then we will be subtracting what? We got the decimal point first. There, we got 8 there, 6, and 1. And here we've got a 7. And then we subtract. So this should finish it up. Now we will need to subtract 1 from the number on top there, which is 0, which is not possible. We need to make the 0 bigger. All we need to do is to borrow 1. So we come here, this can help. We come here, this number can help, it's a 0. We come here, we borrow 1 from the 7, we are left with 6. And then the 1 we bring it here, that makes it a 10. We borrow 1 from the 10, 9. We bring the 1 here to make this a 10. We need to make this bigger, so that means we still need to take 1 out of this 10. We're left with 9, and the 1 comes here to make this 10. 10 minus 1, and that will give us a 9. Beautiful. So we have 9 here. 9. We're taking 6 out of the 9. We are left with what? With 3. And here we've got 9, and we're taking 8 out of the 9. We are left with what? 1. And we've got a decimal point. Decimal point, decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. So we've got a 6. We want to take 7 out of the 6. We've got 6 here. We want to take 7 out of the 6. The 6 is too small, so therefore we need to borrow 1 from here. We're left with 8. We bring the 1 here to make it 16. We take 7 out of 16. We're left with what? We're left with 9. Now we've got 8 left here. 8 left here, and we don't have anything here. That means we've got a 0 here. So 8 minus 0, 8, and then we've got 6. And we've got 6 here. We don't have anything here. So 6 minus 0, that gives us 6. And then we've got 8 here. 8 here, and we don't have anything here. 8 minus 0 will give us an 8. So we've got 8,689.139. The answer here is 8,689.19. Beautiful.